Netflix employees that comedy exists to push boundaries and told them if you'd find it hard to support our content breadth, Netflix may not be the best place for you. CEO Ted Sarandos could have pulled the special and replaced it with more episodes of Who Wants to Watch Koreans Get Killed. So that was the point of the evening. How do we take a stand against cancel culture? And I suggested, since we were mostly all in show business, that we start an award show to honor the brave people who have fought back.
It's official. Bill Maher has finally done what almost no one in Hollywood has the guts to do. He didn't give an acceptance speech. He didn't cry on stage. He gave out awards for having a backbone. Yeah, you heard that right. The Cojones Awards. And this wasn't a comedy sketch or late-night bit. It was Maher's full-blown rebellion against the monster Hollywood helped create, cancel culture. But here's the thing. Behind the laughter, there's something much bigger going on. Because Maher didn't just roast woke Hollywood. He exposed the hypocrisy at the heart of it. The way celebrities and corporations claim to be brave, yet fold the moment Twitter gets angry. So how did this all start? Let's rewind.
But there's no getting around the fact that what was on the mind of the liberals that night in Brentwood, or wherever we may have been, was that the most powerful witch hunters now were coming from Twitter, the Ivy League, and the progressive left. J.K. Rowling used to be a villain to the right because she wrote books about witchcraft. Now she's a villain to the left because she has the crazy belief that there's more to being a woman than pronouns and lipstick.
Bill Maher was done with Hollywood's fake resistance, the endless speeches about truth and courage delivered by people who panic the moment a hashtag turns against them. So, instead of hosting another polite monologue about the issue, Maher decided to mock it head-on. He announced the Cojones Awards, honoring people who refused to bow to the outrage mobs. No red carpet, no dramatic music, just pure defiance. And he kicked it off by saying the quiet part out loud. Hollywood doesn't celebrate bravery anymore. It rewards fear. Fear of being canceled. Fear of losing sponsors. Fear of not being liked. The Cojones Awards weren't about politics. They were about nerve. And his first honorees, some of the most controversial names on the internet.
Well, I gotta tell you, the idea was met with great enthusiasm by everyone, and in short order, different people were suggesting the ways that their varied talents could be put to use. And then, of course, being Hollywood, nothing happened. But it's still a good idea, so I'm gonna do it right here, right now, and not only that, we're gonna do it every year.
For 2 decades, J.K. Rowling was untouchable. She didn't just write a best-selling book, she built a global universe that inspired millions of kids to read. But the moment she voiced an opinion that didn't fit perfectly into the new script, the mob turned. Cancel her, erase her legacy, burn the books. It was like a digital witch hunt. Ironic, considering she's the author of Harry Potter. Maher pointed out the madness. The same people who grew up idolizing her were now trying to delete her from history. And here's what made it even more telling. Rowling didn't cave. She didn't issue a teary apology. She stood by her words.
Our first award goes to the president of my alma mater, Cornell University, Martha Pollack. This month, students there demanded trigger warnings before all the lectures in case any of the adult subjects you specifically went to college to learn about came up.
Rumors suggest that even inside Warner Brothers, some execs quietly distanced themselves from her, worried about public reaction. But Maher said what many were thinking, and Rowling's refusal to fold earned her the first honorary Cojones, because in today's Hollywood, bravery isn't trending, it's forbidden. But Rowling wasn't alone on Maher's list. Next up, 2 names that used to be Hollywood's favorite rebels, until they stopped playing by the rules. There was a time when Elon Musk could do no wrong. He was the tech messiah, saving the planet with electric cars and rockets. And Joe Rogan, the cool, edgy podcaster every celebrity wanted to befriend. But the second they said something that didn't fit the approved narrative, everything changed. Rogan asked questions, Musk cracked jokes, and overnight, they went from heroes to villains.
Just like there's a long list of liberal celebrities who swear they'll go if a Republican is elected, and no one ever does. Miley Cyrus once said, "I am moving if Trump is my president. I don't say things I don't mean." Here she is looking miserable, having to endure America at the Grammys last Sunday. I guess she flew back from Tajikistan.
Maher saw the pattern. The mob builds people up, then destroys them for sport. It's loyalty with a catch. As long as you agree with everything, you're in. The second you deviate, you're done. Reports even claim Maher and Rogan might collaborate on a future comedy project. And you can already hear the outrage typing itself online. Maher's point was simple. Courage used to be celebrated. Now it's treated like a crime. But the Cojones Awards weren't just about public figures. Maher went after the institutions that gave birth to this culture, the colleges and companies too afraid to say one simple word: no.
You're thinking of brunch with your parents. I'm just amazed at how this generation can simultaneously be too sensitive for anything distasteful and somehow also so into eating.
Maher gave a shout out to Cornell University's president, Martha Pollack, and for good reason. When students demanded trigger warnings before lectures, yes, trigger warnings for college classes, she didn't hire a sensitivity committee or issue a heartfelt statement. She just said, no. And that was it. No apology, no backpedaling, just common sense. Maher pointed out the absurdity. You're paying $70,000 a year to avoid discomfort. It's not education anymore. It's daycare for adults. Pollack's simple act of defiance was more courageous than half the speeches Hollywood actors make while holding awards for bravery. And Maher was right. If more universities had that kind of backbone, maybe we'd be raising leaders instead of fragile ideologues who crumble at disagreement. But if you thought that story was wild, the next one had people laughing and cheering for the first time in a long time.
So, for making the phrase, "Don't let the door hit you in the never sound better," this is for you, Ted.
For years, Trader Joe's sold quirky products like Trader Jose's beer. It was harmless, fun, nobody cared. Then one teenager on Twitter decided it was offensive. Suddenly there was a petition. The internet prepared its pitchforks, and everyone expected Trader Joe's to fold, issue an apology, rename everything, maybe even hold a company-wide moment of silence. But Trader Joe's didn't play along. No panic, no groveling, and guess what? Nothing happened. Customers kept shopping. The outrage faded in 2 days, and Trader Joe's stood taller than ever. Maher's message was clear. Cancel culture only works if you let it. If you stand your ground for 48 hours, the mob moves on, because outrage has a short attention span and an even shorter memory. And that lesson wasn't just for grocery stores. Maher's next target was the heart of performative morality itself, Hollywood. Hollywood loves to talk about bravery, as long as it fits in a press release. Remember when half of Hollywood swore they'd leave America if Trump became president? Miley Cyrus, George Lopez, Eddie Griffin. The list went on. But 4 years later, they were still here, still walking red carpets, still posting selfies from Beverly Hills. Maher called them out for what they are, performers. Their resistance is an act. Their outrage is branding. Their values change with the audience. It's not about truth, it's about applause. And Maher dropped the punchline of the decade behind the laughs, though, was something deeper. Comedy, the last place where truth still sneaks through, was under attack too. When Netflix employees walked out over Dave Chappelle's comedy special, most people expected the company to panic. But CEO Ted Sarandos didn't. Instead of pulling the show, he reminded employees that comedy exists to push boundaries. And if that made them uncomfortable, maybe Netflix wasn't the right place for them. It was a rare moment of corporate courage. And Maher honored him for it, because Sarandos understood something simple. If you start apologizing for jokes, you stop being a platform and start being a babysitter. While other companies rushed to silence comedians, Netflix stood firm. And the world didn't end. Maher's takeaway: the mob only wins when you hand them the microphone. Ignore them, and they vanish. Maher also reminded everyone about Tropic Thunder, the 2008 comedy that pushed every boundary imaginable. For years, people have tried to cancel it. And Ben Stiller? He didn't flinch. He tweeted, "I make no apologies for Tropic Thunder. I'm proud of it. That's it. No notes app apology. No, I've learned and grown statement. Just pride in his work. And you know what happened? Nothing. His career didn't end. He's still working, still respected, still fine. Maher summed it up perfectly. If you stand up to the mob for just a day or two, their shallow, smartphone-driven minds will forget about it and move on. In other words, have some backbone and you'll be fine. By the end of the night, Maher's message was crystal clear. Cancel culture isn't real power. It's performative fear. It's smoke and mirrors, a digital storm that burns itself out as fast as it starts. If you cave, you lose. If you stand tall, you win. He called out Hollywood's obsession with fake virtue, the endless apologies, the meaningless statements, the constant fear of saying the wrong thing. And he reminded everyone of something we've forgotten. Defiance isn't dangerous. It's necessary. Because without it, we lose more than comedy. We lose honesty. We lose art. We lose the ability to think freely without checking if it's trending first. Maher didn't just roast Hollywood, he exposed the game. The people screaming the loudest about justice are often the first to betray their principles when it threatens their careers. Meanwhile, the ones who refuse to bend, Rowling, Pollack, Sarandos, Stiller, they're the ones holding the line for everyone else. And maybe that's why the Cojones Awards matter more than anyone expected. Because in an industry built on make-believe, telling the truth is now the most rebellious act of all. So what do you think? Is Bill Maher right? That cancel culture only has the power we give it? Or do you think the outrage machine really can destroy careers? Drop your thoughts below. I'm curious where you stand. And if you made it this far, hit that like button and share this video with someone who still thinks Trader Joe's is problematic for selling salsa. Because the truth is simple. Cancel culture doesn't end when the mob calms down. It ends when people stop being afraid of it.